Hello and good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stretches. Today, we will be working deeply on the legs. So be prepared for a little tiny bit of that stretchy pain, but then afterwards, your legs will feel amazing. So today, we are going to be needing a yoga mat. And if you don't have a yoga mat, a towel or a blanket or just something that is not the floor to lay on will do just fine. And we will also be using a hard backed chair, like the one behind me. So, one that might be at your dining table or desk. And we will also be using a tea towel. Let me grab my towel really quickly and we will get started. All right. Put your towel and your chair to the side. We'll get into those in just a moment, and let's come to a child's pose to begin with. So you can have the knees wide or together and just come forward, feeling the back spill open. And breathe deeply here for a moment. Feeling the deep compression in the hip, the compression in the knees, and maybe even the fronts of the ankles open. If you feel ready, bring the hands to about 45 degrees to one side and start stretching out the side of the body, the armpit, the ribs, all the way down to the waist. And breathe here for a few breaths, just opening up the side body gently. And bring those hands back to center and to the other side. And on your next exhale, bring those hands back to center and see if anything has shifted or changed in your back. Good. Let's bring one arm up and thread it through so the back of the arm is on the ground. And a little bit of a twist and stretch here in the spine. Take one more big breath in, and on the exhale, let's come up to center and switch sides. The other arm goes up And it threads through so the back of the arm is on the ground. And we play with a little twist here. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, come up to center. Maybe give it a little wiggle out or shake out. Give the toes a tuck and gently lengthen those legs. Take a minute to pedal out the feet. Bend and straighten the knees. Feel the hands supporting the ground. The fingers are spread wide. The back is nice and long. The legs are nice and long. And when you're ready, gently walk those feet to the hands to the feet, and hang over those legs. If you want a little extra release, you can hold on to those elbows and hang heavy. Take a big inhale in, bend the knees deeply, and roll all the way up. Good. And let's come to our chair now. There we are. Now I have a head. Good. Before we get into the feet, let's warm up the hands. We didn't do this last week because we massaged our feet first, but we're going to do a quick little check-in with our jaw before we go to the feet. So go right into that muscle right under the ear at the base of the jaw. And give that face a little massage. You can do little circles, maybe even kind of like a little scraping action downwards. And then bring those fingers up to the temples, and again, nice and gentle. And just give the temples a little circular massage as well. You can close your eyes here and kind of use this as the entrance into about 35 more minutes of relaxing work. Good. And then with the fingertips, just go to the scalp at the top of the head. Good. That should hopefully feel really nice. And right into our feet, like we normally do. Starting with a nice kind of rub down. Actually, let's start with, let's really warm up that foot. So I have my foot in between my two hands and I'm rubbing it vigorously, like I'm getting all that blood to the surface, warming the feet up. And then massage the bottom of the foot. And when you're ready, bringing the fingers in between those toes, flossing the fingers in between the toes so that we have that nice kind of wide, almost duck foot. And you can either hold that here or give little circles or little kind of point and flex action. Good. Giving each toe a little scissor. So stretching kind of the skin in between the toes one way and the other, almost thinking of it like webbing. Giving each toe a little traction out. And place that foot down. And before we go to the next foot, just notice the difference between the 2 feet and the foot that we just worked on. On my body right now, it feels a little warmer, feels a little wider, feels a little bit more grounded. And so now we're going to even it out, starting with that kind of vigorous rubbing to get all that blood flowing and warm up the foot. Making sure that you're paying attention to the bottom of the foot as much as you are the top of the foot. Because so many of the muscles are at the bottom of the foot, we sometimes forget that the top of the foot is where all those tendons are. Good. And start massaging the arch of the foot. Being as gentle or get as deep as you need, whatever's going to feel best, and prepare your body for an easy evening. And then flossing the fingers in between the toes, spreading those toes nice and wide, creating that duck foot effect. That's really hard to say on this side. And pointing and flexing those toes, giving it a little circle in one direction, a little circle in the other. And then giving each toe that little scissor. And a little traction. If you get a little crack, then I guess that's lucky you. Good. Placing that foot down and then just feeling those 2 feet nice and planted. And while we're still sitting in this chair, let's extend one leg out to the side and then just using the leg as kind of a kickstand, reach up and over into a nice big side stretch. On your next exhale, reach those fingers a little further and come back up to the other side. Side stretch. And on the next exhale, reach a little further And come up one more time each side. Coming over. Exhale, reach to the side and come up. Oh, hi. And coming up and over. On your exhale, reach to the side and come up. She just woke up from like an 8-hour-long nap. All right, let's get into the glutes now. So bringing the leg up and over, flexing that top foot, sitting up nice and tall, and hinging forward. Feeling that glute in the back start to release. Breathing deeper. Seeing if you can get a little bit further forward in that hip crease. And let that leg come down. Maybe give it a little jiggle out. And on the other side, sitting up nice and tall. Flexing that front foot. And hinging forward. And we'll be here for a moment. Letting the back of that hip slowly start to open. And take a big exhale. And let that leg come down. And give that side a little shake out. All right, let's come to the back of our chair. Let me adjust this screen real quick. And let's do a little calf stretch. It is remarkable how tight calves are, but they're just always tight, right? Yeah, they're always tight. Oh, hi. And we're just letting that calf slowly elongate. Try to relax and release the front of the ankle. Take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, come up and switch sides. Feeling the calf opening up on your opposite side. Feeling a nice long line between the back heel and the top of the head. Seeing if you can release the front of that ankle joint. And at the same time, can you release the jaw? Can you connect to your breath? And take an inhale in. And on the exhale, come up. All right. Let's move the chairs to the side. Pardon me. Okay, that's how it's going to go then. Let's come to the mat. Let's come to the knees. Let's work on stretching out the fronts of the hips first. So let's come to all fours. Let's tuck that tail And come forward a little bit, or a lot of it, however, whatever you need for the front of that hip to release. And if you're not feeling a stretch, keep tucking that tail and coming forward. She was literally asleep all day, and she knows when the camera is on, I guess, and this is her moment. This is her time to shine. Okay? Good. And because today we're focusing on legs, let's frame our front foot with our hands. Let's bring that back toe up and reach up and over, grabbing the top of the foot and getting into the thigh, seeing if we can get that heel closer to our bottom. And if the heel is on your bottom, move those front toes forward and get a little deeper. Or we can just keep working on it together. And here's another great moment to be connecting to the breath, to be connecting to that thigh releasing, checking in with the jaw. And on the exhale, release that back leg and lengthen that front leg. And we're going to go into a yoga half split. So bring those toes up to the ceiling and find that hamstring nice and long. And you can either stay up here, or if it feels good, start bending the elbows and getting the torso a little closer to the shin. See if you can get your nose to touch that shin bone. One day. One day I'll do it. And on your next big exhale, come on out of that, and let's go to the other side. So we're going to find a tuck in that tail, in that hip, and come a little bit forward to start stretching out that hip, that thigh, the front of the leg. And if you don't feel this, find a tuck. Find a bigger tuck and come a little bit more forward. And if you want to get into the psoas, you can always bring that arm up and over. I forgot to mention that on the first side. And then as we're doing this, we're just opening the front of the hip, which means that the jaw can be relaxed here. It also means the shoulders can be relaxed. And we're stretching the front of the hip, which won't inhibit your breathing. So you can be breathing consciously and deeply while in this stretch. And let's come forward, bringing those back toes up, holding on and giving that thigh a slightly deeper stretch. And in this one as well, we're connecting to the breath. Let's see if every time we exhale, can we have that thigh release a little bit more? And it might not even be releasing into stretch, but maybe sometimes when we have a stretch that's really intense, the body tenses to protect ourselves. And what happens if you can just remove a little bit of that protective layer every time you exhale to get deeper into the stretch? deeper into the understanding of what the length of that muscle is and what that length of the muscle could be. Checking in with the jaw and the shoulders as well. So many things to check on. And on your next exhale, lower that foot, transfer back. And we're going to go into that yoga half split. So flexing or bringing those toes up to the ceiling. Oh, hi. And bringing that chest closer, nose to the shin. Feeling the length of the hamstring. Checking in with the breath. And coming out of that stretch, giving the legs a moment. And let's come on to our backs for our big hamstring stretch. So let's prepare the tea towel real quick. Fold it a couple of times so you create this is going to be our makeshift yoga strap. Are you going to let me continue to teach this class, or are you just going to be a little interruption? All right. Put that to the side so it's easy to reach. Let's bring one knee into the chest, grabbing onto our little tea towel, hooking it around the foot, coming to a hamstring stretch, and we'll be here for probably a minute, just passively opening up the hamstring. And when you're here, you can bend and stretch that knee. You can wave it side to side. Sometimes crossing over the midline feels really nice along the outside of the leg. And bring that leg down. Shake that out. And now we're going to go into resisting and releasing the leg. So when I resist, I'm going to be pressing my foot into my tea towel. And I'll be thinking about pressing it into the tea towel and down to the ground, but I'm not going to let it move. So that's going to really engage that hamstring so that when you release, the leg can then gently fall towards your torso. So let's all get prepared. We'll do this 3 times. We take an inhale in. And on the exhale, we resist for 1, 2, 3. Take an inhale in. And on the exhale, release and bring that leg closer to you. Second time, inhaling in. And on the exhale, we resist for 1, for 2, for 3. Take an inhale in. And on the exhale, release and bring the leg a little closer to you. Last time, inhale. And on the exhale, resist for 1, 2, 3. Inhale in. And on the exhale, release. And bring that leg a little closer to you, holding that there. And remove the tea towel and let that leg float down to the mat. Shake that out. always so painful when you're in this stretch, but as soon as it ends, it feels really good. Okay? Other side. So just going into a little bit of a passive hamstring stretch, playing with bending or straightening that leg, waving it side to side if you need. Just getting that hamstring a little bit more open before we go into that heavy duty stretch. Good. Bringing that foot down. Here we go. Tea towel around the foot, extending it up. Take an inhale in, and on the exhale, we resist for 1, 2, 3. Inhale in, and on the exhale, release and bring that leg closer to you. Second time, inhale. And on the exhale, we resist for 1, for 2, for 3. Inhale. And on the exhale, release and bring that leg a little closer to you. Last time, inhale. And on the exhale, we resist 2, 3. Inhale. And on the exhale, release, bringing that leg a little closer to you. Little closer to you, and release it down to the ground. Give those feet a little shake out. Good. We're going to go into the hips. And on this one, we have 2 options. Option 1 is you stay on your back and you come back into that ankle over the thigh position. It's basically the same thing we did sitting in our chair. But this time, can I help you? Okay. But this time, we have it on our backs. So this is option number 1. Option number 2 is pigeon. Now, in a perfect world with a perfectly flexible body, which doesn't exist on like 99.9% of human beings on this world, your pigeon leg would look like this. Your shin would be parallel to the front of your mat. I can't do that. So I bring my shin in a little and I extend up. The key to pigeon is having 2 hips face forward. And then from there, you can come down to the forearms. So 2 options to give the hip an extra stretch out. And we will be in this for 1 minute starting now. So either in that figure 4 or that pigeon. Oh, hi. And this is another great moment to connect to the breath, to check in with the shoulders, to check in with the jaw. Breathing deeply, and if you're feeling okay, close the eyes. And just continue to feel the stretch deepen, continue to feel the breath going in and out of the lungs. And take a big inhale in. Slowly come out of that side. And prepare to do the second side. So whether that's that figure 4 on your back or the little pigeon, you're getting ready. You come into your starting stretch, and we'll be here for 1 minute. Take an inhale in, and on the exhale, sink in, close the eyes. Maybe find an adjustment or two that feels good. Check in with the jaw. Check in with the shoulders. Check in with the breath, feeling the back of that hip open. Take a big inhale in, and on the exhale, slowly come out of that. Let's go into the center now. So coming into our middle splits, or as much as the middle splits as we have. Tippy toeing those fingers forward, or just sitting up nice and tall, whatever gives you the most stretch at this moment. And we'll be here for about a minute to a minute and a half. We did this in my class earlier this evening, and we were joking around by, breathing deeply while it feels like your legs are being detached from your body. But they won't be detached from your body because you're in control of this stretch, and it's sometimes a little bit painful. Seeing if you can get a little bit deeper. Sorry. Take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, let's go just a little bit deeper. And maybe you just go deeper in the mind's eye, right? Maybe you just go deeper into that idea of like releasing that protective layer that we sometimes have and clench around the muscles and joints. Take an inhale in. And on the exhale, slowly come up and out of that. Bringing the legs in towards each other. Giving them a little shake out, a little rub down. Good. All right. Have the chair close by. We're going to use that at the very end of class, and also have your tea towel close by. I'm going to need you to get off the mat now. Excuse me. No? Okay. All right. This is going to be interesting. 1 second. Come here. There you go. Let's bring one knee into the chest and release it up and over. The hands come together. And we're going to find 3 circles in each direction with that top arm. Taking moments to pause in the areas that feel good or stretchy or super released or relaxed. Feeling it in the armpit, the ribs, the spine, all through the torso, the shoulder. And when you've done 3 circles in one direction, 3 in the other. Really connecting to your exhale in these, twisting out stale air. Don't know if that exists, but the idea is nice. And when you've done 3 in each direction, come to the back. Bring the other leg up to the chest and switch sides. 3 circles in the other direction now. And of course, taking a moment to pause in the areas that feel nice and stretchy, good in the pecs, in the shoulders, in the ribs, torso, the spine. And then in the other direction. Good. Bringing the feet back to the mat. Hugging the knees into the chest, rock side to side. Feeling that back open onto the mat. This is something that you sometimes will find in a yoga class. We're going to end with a happy baby stretch. So taking the peace fingers and grabbing around the toes or holding onto the ankles and shins. We're going to bring those feet up to the ceiling, the legs nice and wide, just to open up those inner thighs and hips one more time. I like to hold on to my ankles. I feel like I can kind of control the stretch better here, and you can rock side to side if that feels good. Maybe stretching one leg or the other. Bringing the legs down and long. Getting that chair ready for the final relaxation part of class. Taking that tea towel, and we're going to turn it into a tiny little pillow. So folding it long ways again, and then just fold it in on itself or roll it until you get a little pillow like this. We'll put our head right there, our shins or our calf muscles on the chair, and then just adjust until you feel like you're situated in a comfortable position. Little tea towel under the base of the head. Putting the palms of the hands on the tops of the thighs. Take an inhale in, and on the exhale, press the thighs away, feeling space in the lower back. Inhale, release, hands behind the head, and on the exhale, give the head a little bit of tractioning. And either palms facing the ceiling down by your sides, or wrapping the arms around you so your elbows are up to the ceiling, finding your final resting position. Closing the eyes. Take a big breath in. And feel the hips heavy into the ground. Feel the ribs and back heavy into the ground. Feel the back of the head heavy into the ground. The eyes go down into the back of the head. The jaw hangs loose. The chest melts away from the center of the body. The air gently goes up the throat and then back down into the lungs. Feeling the abdominals and the organs of the torso released. The chair supports the calves and the lower legs. And you'll stay here for as long as you need. Breathing in and out, feeling parts of the body release and just give in to the gravity. Thank you very much. And only when you are ready will you get out of this gently and calmly. Have a good night. Thank you.